Now, after you must have fixed the pockets, the next thing to do is to do the weaving. So the weavings will be done with your weaving machine, either manual or industrial. Then after the weaving, the next step you're going to take here is to do your flap, to fix your flap. So let's proceed with our flap fixing. So you bring your flap you have cut, then place it on the left panel of the shorts. On the left panel of the shorts, this just like this, and then you stitch it down all through from there. Sew it down all through from there. Make sure you stitch all through to the very end, and stitch to the very end. Then you also cut your threads, after which you top stitch the flap. Stitch on top of the flap where you have sewn, right? So the stitching here is going to help relax that flap properly. Stitch all through on the flap, then cut your threads, then cut off the excess flap in this form. Cut your threads as well, and then after which you bring the second flap. This one was folded already and weaved. So place your zip in this form. Bear in mind that this was double folded already and weaved. So place your zip in this form, and then stitch at one end or one edge of the zip, right? That the right part of the zip. Stitch all through that way. Cut your threads as shown, and then cut the excess flap in that form as well. Then measure the zip point, which is 5.5 inches. So notch 5.5 inches from the waistline, and then place the other zip area. Then stitch it all through down in this form. Stitch all through down in this form, making sure that you double stitch where 5.5 inch was notched. Cut your threads as well, just like this. And then open it up that way. Cut excess whatever threads you have there. Then you top stitch this area as well. The top stitching will help you to also, have a relaxed finishing there. Top stitch all through that way. After which, you bring the other panel of the shorts, align them properly, making sure that the heights are equal and the crotch area as well must correspond. Arrange it properly, and then start from the crotch points, leave half an inch in, and then stitch all through this way. Stitch all through this way, making sure that it's corresponding, the front panels are aligning, and then end it underneath the zip points, just like this. Cut your threads, and then it is advisable that you reinforce that place by having a double stitch, so that the short will not tear easily from that point, because once it gets torn, to fix it tends to be a very hard task to do because of the position of that stitching area. Cut your threads as well shown, and then the next to do is to hold down the zip, just as you are seeing me do. Hold it down all through to that very point, and then after which You also cut off your threads in this form. So the zip part fixing is almost done. So let us stitch the curvy stitching we have on the flap area. Before you do that, you make sure you unzip your trouser and hold it firmly this way, and then try to stitch 1.1, 1.2 inches depending on the size, but the maximum is 1.5 for adults or for grown-up children, right? Then you stitch it all through that way. Make sure that you are arranging the whole trouser panel, and then give a curved stitch from there. Give a curved stitch from there and end it at that very point. So the next you do now will be to hold down the zip down at the inside. You hold it down, stitch it down. The two flaps, you're meant to hold them together. You hold the two flaps down together in this form, and then this is what you have. So the next you see or do will be to work on the side, the back panels, and then before you start joining. Now the next thing to do here is to fix your front band. Now bear in mind that the back has an extension of the band inclusive, so I'm trying to mark the belt loop. So 3 inches or 2.5 inches from the side line, from the pocket point, sorry. So you mark 2.2, 1/4 or thereabout. So just mark it from there and then mark for the loop. You are marking for the loop positioning, right? Sorry, for the rope, where the rope will come out from, not loop, right? Because the front has rope and the back has elastic. So when you stitch and get to that point where you marked 2.5 to 1/4, you stop in that form, cut your threads. You make sure you get the point properly connected, then you cut it out in this form, and then you will join it back. But then when joining, you will not create a hole or a space where the rope will come out from, right? So you cut it first and secondly join it, and then you create a hole where the rope will come out from. And bear in mind that the whole creation will be on the part that will face the front of the trouser, right? And not the one that will be inside. So you stitch it back, then create a little hole like 1/2 inch that will be able to pass the rope. Make sure it's properly stitched. So as you're sewing it, you're also going to double stitch it, right? So then sew the end of the band, and then cut your threads. Then you have to top stitch it so that the joining will be flattened this way. So you open it up this way, and then you are going to hold it down from here, and then continue with your band fixing just like this. And then you can now cut the excesses from there and fold it from the point where the notching came from and close the front band. And close the front band. So after which you can cut the excess band, notch the tip there, and then tuck it out, or in rather, and you have fixed one side of the band. So the same thing I did here is what I will do on the second part, then before we go to the side joining.